is the exploration of your consciousness in the altered state of sleep. Every single one of us experiences dreaming.
Every night, as your eyes grow heavy and sleep pulls you in, you cross a threshold, a gateway into the unknown. In that moment, reality blurs, and you drift into a realm both familiar and strange. But what if this journey isn't just a trick of the mind? What if an ancient forbidden book held the key to understanding where your consciousness truly goes when you sleep? Is it dreams or somewhere else? Science calls it sleep, dreams, a function of the brain. But the ancients knew better. They knew that when the body rests, the soul travels. They understood that sleep is not just a passive state, but a doorway, a passage into something far greater than we have been taught to believe. The Tibetans have spoken of the bardo, a space between life, death, and rebirth, where the soul drifts, encountering lessons, visions, and glimpses of higher truths. The ancient Egyptians mapped the journey of the Ka, the soul's double, as it wandered the Duat, the underworld of hidden knowledge. Indigenous shamans across the world have long used dream states to travel beyond the body, accessing wisdom from ancestors, spirits, and dimensions unseen. What if you have been doing this all along? What if every night you leave behind the constraints of your waking life and step into a reality far more expansive than the one you know? And what if you could remember, truly remember, where you have been? The answer has been hidden in symbols, whispered in secret, and recorded in books now lost to time. But fragments remain, scattered across history, waiting to be pieced together. This book is one of those fragments, a key to unlocking what has been deliberately forgotten. The moment you understand where your consciousness goes when you sleep, you will never see reality the same way again. This book is none other than the Bardo Thodol, commonly known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But its true meaning has been hidden in plain sight. It is not just a guide for the dead, it is a map for the living, a revelation of what happens to consciousness when it detaches from the constraints of the physical body. For centuries, this text has been treated as a funerary manual, a set of instructions meant to help the soul navigate the afterlife. But what few realize is that the states of being it describes are not just experienced at death. They happen every single night when you fall asleep. The Bardo Thodol reveals that sleep is not simply a biological process. It is a gateway. When the mind drifts into sleep, something remarkable happens. Your awareness, no longer tethered by the body, begins to expand. At first, it clings to the echoes of the day, memories, worries, stray thoughts. But as the layers of waking life dissolve, something deeper takes hold. You find yourself moving through a landscape that is not quite yours, yet intimately familiar. This is where consciousness begins its journey. Realms of learning. Some experience it as lucid dreaming, where they wake up inside their dreams, fully aware and in control. Others feel themselves lifted beyond their own dreams, as if stepping into a realm that exists independently of their mind. The ancient texts describe these places as realms of learning, spaces where the soul is shown truths too vast for waking perception. One of the greatest secrets buried in esoteric traditions is the idea that consciousness is not trapped within the body. It is projected outward, connected to a vast, living field of awareness. This means that every night you do not simply dream, you return to something greater. You reconnect with the source of your being, the unseen currents that shape your existence. And for those who learn how to navigate this state, the limits of reality begin to dissolve. The Hermeticists taught that, as above, so below, as within, so without. This means that the landscapes you explore in sleep are not illusions. They are reflections of something real, something external to you. The Tibetans call these experiences dream yoga, a practice that allows the conscious mind to move beyond illusion and directly perceive deeper truths. They teach that dreams are training grounds, spaces where the soul rehearses for the moment of death, where it learns to navigate the unseen forces that shape both this life and the next. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus is recorded as saying, "If they ask you, 'What is the sign of your Father in you?' say to them, 'It is movement and rest.'" The interplay between the waking world and the dream world, between action and surrender. What if sleep is not merely rest, but movement? What if it is the place where the soul gathers its strength, where it drinks from the well of infinite knowledge before returning to the constraints of waking life? Those who have studied the hidden teachings know that in sleep, the self can fragment, scatter across different planes of existence. This is why dreams often feel disconnected, slipping from one reality to another. But the trained mind can hold its awareness, can move through these layers with intention. And when it does, it begins to see what was always there, just beyond reach. There are those who believe that sleep is the closest we come to death while still alive. And yet, what if it is not a brush with death at all, but a return to something older than life itself? What if, in sleep, we remember who we truly are? Every night, your consciousness follows a path mapped out long before you were born. It moves beyond the physical, beyond the limitations of the self you recognize. It enters a space of symbols, of visions, of hidden knowledge waiting to be retrieved. And yet, each morning, you wake with only fragments, shadows of something deeper that slip through your fingers before you can grasp them. The Sufis speak of the inner eye, the faculty of vision that allows the soul to see beyond the illusion of the material world. In sleep, this inner eye opens. It is why visions come unbidden, why messages arrive in the form of dreams, why ancient traditions across the world have taught that sleep is a sacred state, a time when the veil between worlds grows thin. The astral bridge, sleep and the afterlife. The Greeks called sleep Hypnos, the brother of Thanatos, the god of death. In Hinduism and Buddhism, sleep is often referred to as a small death, a temporary release from the physical form that mirrors what happens when the body dies. This belief raises an unsettling but profound question. Do we visit the afterlife when we sleep? Some people report dreams where they meet deceased loved ones who give them messages, offer comfort, or warn them of things to come. These dreams often feel different from regular dreams, more vivid, more real, as if the person has truly stepped into another realm. In near-death experiences, NDEs, people who have been clinically dead for minutes, sometimes longer, often describe traveling through tunnels, encountering luminous beings, and experiencing an overwhelming sense of peace. Interestingly, many of these accounts sound eerily similar to descriptions of astral projection and lucid dreaming. Some researchers believe that the process of dying and the process of dreaming may not be so different. If dreams and the afterlife are connected, this means that every night you are given a chance to practice for the great transition beyond life. By becoming more aware in dreams, you might prepare yourself for what comes after, ensuring that when the time comes, your soul moves forward with clarity instead of confusion. The gatekeepers of sleep. Who or what watches over the dreaming mind? Another mystery of sleep is the presence of guides, guardians, and entities within dreams. Have you ever encountered a figure in a dream who felt like more than just a part of your imagination? Someone who spoke with authority, gave you knowledge, or even warned you about something? Many cultures speak of dream guides, beings that appear to direct the soul through the dream world. In indigenous traditions, spirit animals often visit the dreamer, imparting wisdom or acting as protectors. In ancient Mesopotamia, people believed in Lailu spirits, supernatural beings who entered dreams to offer messages or test the dreamer's soul. Then there are those who report darker entities, shadow figures that lurk at the edge of dreams, pressing down on the dreamer, whispering strange words, or even inducing nightmares. Some believe these are manifestations of unresolved fears and traumas, while others suggest they are actual entities that exist in the astral realm, feeding on negative energy. The phenomenon of sleep paralysis often blurs the line between science and the supernatural. Those who experience it describe waking up unable to move, feeling a presence in the room, and sometimes even seeing shadowy figures hovering nearby. While science attributes this to the brain being temporarily stuck between sleep and wakefulness, many cultures see it as evidence of spiritual warfare, a moment when the dreamer is caught between worlds, vulnerable to unseen forces. If the dream state is truly a place where the soul travels, it makes sense that it might encounter other beings along the way. Whether these entities are parts of the self, independent spirits, or something else entirely, remains an open question. Mastering the dream realm, can we control where the soul goes? If sleep is a gateway to the spiritual world, then learning to control the journey becomes one of the most powerful tools for self-discovery. This is why ancient traditions across the world developed techniques to remain conscious during sleep, practices that allow individuals to not just experience the dream world, but actively shape it. Lucid dreaming is one of the most well-known methods. Those who practice it train themselves to recognize when they are dreaming, taking control of the narrative and exploring their dreamscapes with intention. Some use it to face fears, heal emotional wounds, or seek spiritual guidance. Others use it as a launchpad for astral projection, shifting from a lucid dream into an out-of-body experience. Meditation before sleep can also influence the direction of dreams. Many ancient mystics practiced dream incubation, setting an intention before sleep and asking for divine guidance in their dreams. This was commonly done in the temples of Asclepius, the Greek god of healing, where people slept in sacred chambers, hoping to receive visions that would cure their ailments. Another approach is mantra repetition, silently reciting a sacred phrase before sleep to guide the soul into higher realms. In Tibetan Buddhism, practitioners chant specific syllables associated with divine energy, helping them stay aware during sleep and beyond. Where will you go tonight? Every night, you step beyond the limits of your waking mind. Whether you remember it or not, your soul moves through different layers of reality, touching past lives, encountering other beings, and glimpsing worlds beyond imagination. The question is, will you take control of the journey? By training yourself to become more aware of the dream state, you can unlock profound spiritual insights, heal old wounds, and prepare for the greatest mystery of all, what happens after this life. Tonight, as you close your eyes, set an intention. Will you travel to a past life, seek knowledge from a guide, step beyond the dream world into the unknown? The path is waiting. All you have to do is dream. To understand where consciousness goes when you sleep is to understand the nature of reality itself. It is to break free from the illusion that waking life is all there is, and it is to awaken to the truth that you are already more than you have been told. This is only the beginning. The journey continues, and the deeper we go, the more we uncover. In the next part, we will explore the forces that shape the dream realm, the entities that dwell within it, and how consciousness interacts with the unseen world while the body rests. The question is not whether you travel beyond yourself in sleep. The question is, Are you ready to remember where you have been? The Egyptians held that sleep was a temporary death and that the soul, what they called the Ba, left the body and traveled to the divine realms each night. Temples dedicated to the god Thoth, the deity of wisdom and magic, contained special chambers where priests would enter deep trances, believing they could access hidden knowledge through their dreams. This belief suggests that the act of dreaming is not just the mind sorting through thoughts, but an actual experience of the soul's journey into a higher plane of existence. Furthermore, ancient Egyptians believed that during sleep, the Ka, or spiritual double, left the body and roamed the world of the dead, only to return before waking. African traditions take this to another level. Sleep is not just a time for rest, but a sacred journey where the soul connects with the unseen world. Among the Yoruba people of West Africa, there is a powerful belief that dreams are messages from Orun, the spiritual realm. Here, the ancestors, spirits and deities known as Orishas can communicate with the living, guiding them, warning them, or revealing hidden truths about their destiny. For the Yoruba, the dream world is just as real as waking life, perhaps even more real. The body may sleep, but the Ori, or higher self, remains active. It roams the spiritual planes, seeking wisdom and protection. Some believe that when a person sleeps, their Ori meets with their ancestors, who advise them on the path they should take. These dreams are often seen as divine guidance, carrying messages that must be understood and acted upon. The mystery of Abiku, the soul that travels between worlds. One of the most fascinating beliefs in Yoruba spirituality is the concept of Abiku, which means born to die. These are children who are believed to belong to a different realm, one that exists between life and death. It is said that Abiku spirits are born into the world, but never stay long. They leave their families through early death, only to be reborn again and again, trapped in a cycle between the physical and spiritual worlds. Some believe that the Abiku do not fully sleep like others do. Instead, when they close their eyes at night, their souls return to the spirit world to meet with their true family, beings who exist beyond the veil of this world. These beings remind them of their true purpose, calling them back to the realm they belong to. Because of this belief, Yoruba families perform special rituals to anchor an Abiku child to the physical world, hoping to break the cycle and keep them from returning to the spirit realm too soon. These rituals often involve marking the child's body, giving them sacred names, or making offerings to the Orishas. This idea of souls traveling between realms through sleep is not unique to the Yoruba. Many African traditions recognize that some people have stronger spiritual ties than others, and that dreams can reveal if a person is more connected to the unseen world than to this one. In many African belief systems, sleep is not just about dreaming, it is about traveling. Some say that when you sleep, your spirit leaves your body and journeys to the land of the ancestors. This is why some elders warn against waking a person too suddenly. If the spirit is still wandering and the body is awakened too fast, the two might not reunite properly, leading to illness or confusion. The Zulu people of South Africa have a deep respect for dreams, seeing them as a way for the living to communicate with the dead. In Zulu tradition, dreams are messages from the Amadlozi, the ancestral spirits who watch over their descendants. These spirits can offer guidance, protection, or even warnings about the future. If a person dreams of an ancestor speaking to them, it is taken seriously, and often a ceremony is performed to honor the spirit and ensure the message is understood. But dreams are not always straightforward. Sometimes the ancestors speak in symbols. A dream of water, for example, might mean change is coming. A dream of fire might mean anger or conflict. Some people have the gift of dream interpretation, a sacred ability that allows them to translate these visions into meaning. In many African cultures, such individuals are known as diviners or shamans, and they help guide their communities through the hidden knowledge revealed in dreams. Another fascinating figure in African spirituality is the trickster spirit, who often appears in dreams to test, confuse, or teach important lessons. In Yoruba tradition, this role is played by Ishu, the messenger of the gods and the keeper of crossroads. Ishu is known for his unpredictable nature. One night, he might bring a dream of great wisdom, the next, a dream full of riddles and chaos. Some believe that if you dream of being lost, tricked, or facing strange obstacles, it is a sign that Ishu is testing you. He may be showing you where you need to grow, or he may be warning you that you are not seeing something clearly in your waking life. In other African traditions, similar trickster figures exist, such as Anansi, the spider god of the Akan people of Ghana. Anansi is famous for his cleverness, using his wit to outsmart those stronger than him. If Anansi appears in a dream, it might mean you need to use wisdom rather than strength to solve a problem. These trickster figures remind us that not all dreams are straightforward. Some are challenges meant to sharpen the mind and awaken the spirit. For many African cultures, the night is not just a time for sleep, it is a time for spiritual work. Some believe that before you sleep, you must set an intention for where your soul will travel. If you do not, you might wander aimlessly through the dream world, at the mercy of whatever energies exist there. This belief is reflected in rituals that involve speaking prayers before bed, lighting candles, or calling upon ancestors for protection. In some traditions, people place special objects near their bed, such as stones, herbs, or sacred symbols, to guide their spirits safely through the night. There is also the belief that some people are natural travelers of the dream world, those who are born with the ability to move between realms with ease. These individuals often become healers, diviners, or spiritual leaders in their communities because they can bring back knowledge from the dream realm and use it to help others. In the African spiritual view, dreams are not random. They are sacred messages, warnings, and journeys. Whether you are meeting an ancestor, speaking with a trickster spirit, or glimpsing a past life, every dream is part of a larger story, the story of your soul's journey through time and space. The dream world is vast, full of wisdom, mystery, and danger. But if you listen closely, if you pay attention, it might just reveal the path you are meant to take. Other traditions speak of dream realms as shared spaces where multiple minds can interact. In some indigenous American teachings, it is said that those who enter a deep state of dreaming can communicate with spirits, ancestors, or even living people who are also dreaming at the same time. Some believe this is how ancient shamans received their visions, by traveling through the dream world, accessing wisdom that was otherwise hidden from those who remained purely in waking consciousness. Even modern thinkers have touched upon similar ideas. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, proposed the concept of the collective unconscious, a vast, shared realm of archetypes and symbols that all humans unknowingly connect to. Could it be that when we sleep, we are not simply resting but plugging into this deeper source of wisdom? Could our dreams be glimpses into a reality that exists beyond space and time, a reality that those in power would rather we remain blind to? If this is true, then every night we experience something miraculous. We leave behind our physical form, break free from the limitations of time, and step into a world where thoughts and emotions shape the very fabric of reality. But if this knowledge is so powerful, why is it not widely discussed? What forces have worked to suppress this understanding? And what would happen if more people became aware of their true potential through dreams? The answers may lie in forgotten texts and forbidden teachings buried beneath centuries of dogma and distraction. But one thing is certain. What happens when we sleep is far more mysterious than we have been led to believe. There is an old parable that speaks to the mystery of consciousness beyond the waking world. It comes from ancient China, from the teachings of the philosopher Zhuangzi, a man who often spoke of the illusions of reality and the nature of dreams. His story is simple, yet it has puzzled minds for centuries. One night, Zhuangzi dreamed that he was a butterfly. In his dream, he fluttered through the air, weightless and free, completely unaware of his human self. He moved from flower to flower, feeling only the joy of being alive as a butterfly. There was no memory of his human identity, no thought of anything beyond the moment. The world was simply what it was, and he accepted it without question. But then, he woke up. He found himself once again as Zhuangzi, lying in his bed, surrounded by the familiar world of men. The dream was over, but a question remained. Had he been Zhuangzi dreaming he was a butterfly, or was he now a butterfly dreaming he was Zhuangzi? This question shook him to his core. If he could live so completely as a butterfly in his dreams, then how could he be sure that his waking life was any more real than his dreaming one? If consciousness could fully exist in both states, then what separated one from the other? This parable carries a message that fits perfectly with the idea that sleep is more than rest. It is a doorway. If Zhuangzi could forget his identity entirely and become something else within his dream, then who is to say that the same does not happen to all of us each night? What if, in sleep, we are stepping into another reality just as real as this one, only to forget it upon waking? Some traditions believe that the world of dreams is not just random images, but a mirror to a deeper truth. The ancient Hindu texts, the Upanishads, speak of a state called Turiya, which exists beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. It is a pure awareness, a level of consciousness that sees through the illusions of all three states. According to this belief, dreams are not meaningless. They are signs pointing to something greater, a hidden layer of reality that only a few ever learn to navigate. If this is true, then the question Zhuangzi asked is not just poetic, it is a challenge. It asks us to consider whether the life we believe to be so solid is, in fact, just another kind of dream. And if it is, then what happens when we sleep? Are we waking up somewhere else, just as real as this world, only to forget everything when we return? Some mystics have taken this idea even further. They suggest that the reason we feel so sure of our waking life is that we have been trained to believe in it. From the moment we are born, we are told that this world is real and that dreams are imaginary. But what if the opposite is also true? What if, when we sleep, we enter the real world and our waking life is the illusion? This is a dangerous idea to those who wish to keep control. If people began to explore their dreams, to truly understand what happens when they sleep, they might begin to question the limits placed upon them. They might realize that they are more than just bodies. They are something far greater, something capable of moving between worlds, of shaping reality itself. Zhuangzi's butterfly reminds us that we do not fully understand what happens to our consciousness when we sleep, and if we do not understand it, then we cannot dismiss the possibility that something profound is taking place. Every night, we step into the unknown and we accept it without question. But what would happen if we began to question? What if we began to explore? The dream substance. Modern science divides sleep into different stages: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. But what if these phases are not just biological processes, but doorways to different dimensions of experience? Many spiritual traditions teach that the soul is not bound to the body and that sleep is a time when it can roam freely, exploring hidden truths, revisiting past lives, or even glimpsing possible futures. Each stage of sleep aligns with a different kind of spiritual experience, and by understanding these connections, we can begin to take control of our nightly journeys, using sleep not just for rest, but for awakening. The threshold, entering sleep, and the border between worlds. The first stage of sleep is known as the hypnagogic state, a transitional phase between waking and dreaming. This is the moment when your mind drifts, your body relaxes, and strange, fleeting images begin to appear. Many people report hearing whispers, seeing flashes of light, or feeling as though they are being pulled into another space. In spiritual traditions, this is known as the gateway state, where the soul begins to detach from physical reality. The ancient Egyptians believed this was the moment when the spirit stepped into the duat, the shadowy realm of transformation. In modern mysticism, this phase is often associated with astral projection, where the conscious mind separates from the body and moves into the astral plane, a realm of energy and thought beyond physical existence. Those who practice astral travel say that during this stage, one can consciously guide the soul out of the body. Techniques such as deep breathing, visualization, and focusing on the feeling of floating can help loosen the ties to the material world. If mastered, this state can allow for full awareness during out-of-body experiences, where one can explore other dimensions, visit distant locations, or even communicate with higher beings. Deep sleep, the realm of the unseen. As sleep deepens, the body enters a state known as slow-wave sleep, the phase where brain activity slows, the heartbeat steadies, and the conscious mind fades into darkness. From a scientific perspective, this is when the body restores itself, but from a spiritual viewpoint, something much deeper is happening. This is the stage associated with the void, a concept found in many mystical traditions. In Buddhism, it resembles sunyata, the state of emptiness where the ego dissolves and pure awareness remains. In Hinduism, it reflects the deep, dreamless state known as prajna, where the soul rests in its most natural, unshaped form. During this time, some believe that the soul returns to its source, touching the infinite, unknowable field from which all consciousness arises. This could explain why people wake from deep sleep feeling profoundly refreshed, not just physically, but on a level beyond words. It is as if the soul has briefly bathed in the divine. But for those who have trained themselves in spiritual practices, this state can be something even more profound. Advanced meditators report that during deep sleep, consciousness does not vanish. It shifts into a different kind of awareness, one that is not bound by thoughts, emotions, or even identity. Some traditions teach that those who master this state can use it to travel beyond the material world entirely, merging with the vast intelligence that underlies all things. The dreaming mind, parallel realities and prophetic visions. As sleep cycles continue, the body eventually enters REM sleep, the stage where vivid dreams occur. From a biological standpoint, REM sleep is when the brain becomes highly active, processing emotions, consolidating memories, and forming creative insights. But from a spiritual perspective, this is the gateway to the multiverse, a place where the boundaries between time, space, and identity dissolve. Many mystical traditions speak of dreams as portals to other realities. The ancient Greeks believed dreams were direct messages from the gods, revealing hidden truths and guiding destiny. Indigenous shamans across cultures have long used dreams to communicate with spirits, access knowledge from beyond, and even heal the sick. In modern metaphysical thought, Some believe that when we dream, we are not simply imagining things, we are visiting parallel realities. Each time we enter REM sleep, we may be stepping into a different version of existence, exploring paths our waking selves never took. Have you ever had a dream that felt more real than life itself? A place you recognized but had never seen before? A face that seemed familiar but belonged to no one you know? Some believe these are glimpses of alternate timelines, moments where your consciousness temporarily aligns with a different version of yourself, living a different life. Others suggest that dreams allow us to access the Akashic records, a mystical library said to contain all knowledge of past, present, and future. Those who have experienced prophetic dreams often describe seeing events before they happen, meeting guides who share wisdom, or receiving messages that later prove true. The hidden powers of sleep. What makes REM sleep so unique is that it is both a realm of chaos and creation. Unlike deep sleep, where consciousness dissolves, REM is a playground of infinite possibility. Through lucid dreaming, people have reported meeting deceased loved ones, traveling through cosmic landscapes, and receiving insights that change their waking lives. Some even suggest that REM sleep may be connected to remote viewing, a phenomenon where individuals claim to see distant locations or events while in an altered state. The US government famously funded research into remote viewing during the Cold War, trying to harness this ability for intelligence gathering. Could it be that the dream state is a natural training ground for such abilities? Science has uncovered something remarkable about this process. Each night, your brain produces a powerful substance known as dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. This psychedelic compound is famous for its ability to induce vivid, otherworldly experiences, often described by those who have taken it in concentrated form as journeys beyond time and space. While many plants contain DMT, it also exists naturally within the human body, specifically in the brain. Researchers believe that during REM sleep, the stage where dreams are most vivid, the brain releases small amounts of DMT. This could explain why dreams often feel so strange yet profoundly real. Some people report visiting entirely new dimensions, interacting with beings beyond human understanding, or receiving messages that feel like they come from a place outside of ordinary reality. The presence of DMT suggests that dreams may not be random hallucinations, but rather windows into an expanded state of consciousness. This discovery challenges the common idea that dreams are nothing more than brain activity sorting through memories. If DMT plays a role in dreaming, then sleep might not be a state of unconsciousness at all. Instead, it could be a state where the mind becomes free from the physical world, able to explore realms beyond what we experience while awake. Ancient traditions have long suggested that sleep is a doorway to other dimensions. Some indigenous cultures believe that dreams allow the soul to travel, receiving guidance from ancestors or spiritual forces. The presence of DMT in the brain lends credibility to these beliefs, suggesting that something far more mysterious is happening during sleep than we have been led to believe. If dreams are influenced by a substance known to open doors to otherworldly experiences, then the question remains, where does our consciousness go when we sleep? And if we could learn to control this process, what hidden knowledge might we uncover? The journey continues. Sleep isn't just rest. It is a spiritual journey, a cycle of detachment, return, and exploration. Each stage offers a different lesson, a different opportunity to understand the nature of reality and our place within it. As we move deeper into this exploration, the next part of this journey will uncover even greater mysteries: how the soul interacts with time itself, how dreams may hold the key to past and future lives, And what happens when consciousness moves beyond sleep into the vast unknown? As you close your eyes, consider this. You are not simply resting, you are stepping into a world where the rules of waking life no longer apply. What will you discover? Sleep is far more than a state of rest. It is a journey of the soul, a nightly departure from the physical world into realms unknown. In part 1, we explored how each sleep stage aligns with different spiritual experiences, from astral projection to encounters with parallel realities. Now, we go deeper. What happens when the soul crosses the thresholds of time? Can dreams reveal past lives, future events, or the hidden architecture of the universe itself? One of the great mysteries of sleep is its relationship with time. In waking life, time moves in one direction, past to present to future. But in dreams, time is fluid. A single night's sleep can contain what feels like hours, even days, of experience. You can visit childhood homes that no longer exist, witness events from centuries past, or see glimpses of a future that has yet to unfold. Many spiritual traditions suggest that dreams are not bound by the rules of the waking world because the soul itself exists outside of time. Hindu philosophy describes the Atman, the eternal self, which transcends birth and death. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that the soul enters different realms after death, much like it does in sleep, and that the ability to navigate these realms with awareness determines one's spiritual destiny. Some who practice deep dream work believe that dreams can serve as windows into past lives. Have you ever had a dream where you were someone else, living in a different era, but the emotions and details felt undeniably real? Some suggest these are not just products of the imagination, but fragments of past incarnations surfacing through the dream state. Similarly, prophetic dreams, where people see events before they happen, challenge the idea that time moves in only one direction. Countless stories throughout history tell of individuals who dreamed of future tragedies, only to see them unfold in reality. Abraham Lincoln is said to have dreamed of his own assassination just days before it happened. If time is more fluid than we realize, then dreams may hold the key to its true nature. In the dream state, the soul might travel beyond the present moment, revisiting past lives, exploring parallel realities, or glimpsing the future before it unfolds. Perhaps dreams are more than fleeting illusions. Perhaps they are doorways to something far greater. And just like Zhuangzi's butterfly, we may one day awaken to a reality far beyond what we ever imagined. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.